What's going on, guys? Welcome in to another edition of the stream that is not on the stream. I'm actually gonna be experimenting this week, not doing this on Twitch itself. I had a little bit of technical issues last week where the stream kind of buffered like 10 minutes in and I ended up losing half the stream. And that might have been, I don't want to say it was Twitch's fault, but it might have been Streamlabs' issue with that. It could have been anything, but this week, especially since it's like monsooning outside my house right now, I didn't want to take any chances with the connection. So what I'm doing is just recording this video on my phone, and I'm just going to post it directly to YouTube. So when you see this, just know you didn't miss anything with this live stream, because we're not live streaming this one. We're just recording it and posting it. And I'm going to experiment and see how this goes. I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep doing the streams on Twitch moving forward, or even do the streams at all. Like I had said last week, being able to make time and a schedule to do these is going to be rough coming up, since these are my busier months out of the year. So I'm kind of going to see what happens, but I might honestly end up doing more of these this summer, where I just record the workshops and post them to YouTube, especially since I'm getting a lot more traction over on YouTube anyway, and that's where a lot of people are catching up on these workshops. I want to keep doing the workshops for sure every single week. I think it's just going to be a different way of going about it moving forward for at least the time being, but we're going to see. We're going to see how this one goes and kind of go from there. But essentially this week we're going to be discussing a platform that I know a lot of independent artists use, a platform that I've used since 2020, and that is BandCamp. BandCamp has been around for a good amount of time, I believe since probably the early 2010s. And it's kind of evolved into a platform where independent artists can sell directly to their fan base and get discovered by a lot of other people as well. And it's definitely a huge home for underground music. It's a home for artists that might not be, Billboard charting artists. And it's just a home of independent artists who, like I said, they are selling directly to their fans, and they want to make more money than the traditional Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music monetization will allow for. So we're going to kind of dive into this today. And I found 3 articles. The main one we're going to be going over is BandCamp's very new, fresh, and updated artist guide that they just published recently. They kind of redid their branding a little bit, and they updated their artist guide on their official website. We're going to be going over that one. The other 2 that you can check out in the description of this video is from Music Gateway and from AllieTunes. So a few different articles, and you can still look up different things about BandCamp even outside of this video. But I just wanted to cover it today because, like I said, I've had experience with BandCamp, made a little bit of money on there. I wouldn't say I've made a ton of money on there, but as far as a platform to get discovered on, I think it's a super, super cool thing, super great platform to utilize in your own way. And really, I think I want to say I came across it just from, being a music producer, being a fan of a lot of artists that were using it at the time. Someone that utilizes BandCamp to its fullest extent that I'm a fan of is a producer named Jansport J, who I've been following for probably 6 years now. I've been following his work a lot. I just love his sound. I love the artists that he works with. And he utilizes BandCamp very well, posts a lot of different instrumental albums, does some collaborations on there. I know that BandCamp has done articles on him and interviews with him as well. And I kind of have modeled my own BandCamp journey in the way of, his as well, just from, excuse me guys, just from his ability to sell merch, build out his full discography. You can do a lot of different things with the platform. So let's get into it. This article is pretty extensive. They kind of summarize every aspect of their platform as it stands in 2025 and kind of give you almost like cheat codes to unlock the full potential for you as an artist on BandCamp. So let's get it going. It says this guide covers our recommendations for how to achieve financial success on BandCamp. If you're new to the site, visit our About page, which, yeah, they have an About page where you can read about the history and all that good stuff. If you're seeking advice on a specific feature or experience a problem, yeah, and they tell you, where to reach out for the help center, all that good stuff. But now for the real article, here we go. Connecting to the BandCamp community. BandCamp isn't just a bunch of isolated direct-to-fan storefronts. It's a marketplace and community of millions of music buyers discovering and supporting hundreds of thousands. It's been a long day. I apologize. Hundreds of thousands of independent but interconnected artists. And that community, via features like Discover Artist Recommendations, fan collections, and the music feed, drives 30% of BandCamp's monthly sales, so it's definitely worth tapping in. However, your connection to the community doesn't happen automatically. There are a few things you need to do to make it happen. First, it's important to tag yourself and your music properly so that fans can use BandCamp's search and browsing tools to find you. If you're a metal or punk band or some other similarly badass genre, we understand the temptation to categorize yourself as kids or devotional. The temptation to categorize. Sorry, I had to do a double take on that one. But doing so only means fewer people will discover and buy your music. To correct this, visit your profile page where you can update your genre and also add more tags for other genres or subgenres that apply to you. Similarly, when adding a track or album to BandCamp, it's important that you fill out the tag field with any additional tags that are specific to that release. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the tag field is pretty much unlimited. I think they give you, you can add as many tags as you want. I usually tend to only add 3 or 4 main tags, and I usually try to look for ones that are the most searched, like chill beats, lo-fi, instrumental, things of that nature for myself, because that's usually what I'm uploading is just my beats or instrumental music. So just identify what that is. Maybe do some research, like go to other artists' page that, are trending on that website, on BandCamp, and look at their tags, because you can see the tags on whatever release it is. Study those tags, study, the popular tags and see what works. It's almost like doing it for social media. You want to get the ones that are maybe not the most popular, but toward the top of the list, so you can be included in that search history. Second, recommend your favorite albums by fellow BandCamp artists. We show those in a footer on your album pages and in Discover. And notify the artists you recommend. Your radical act of kindness not only secures your spot in Valhalla, it also leads to reciprocal recommendations that boost your sales. That's interesting. I did not know you could do that, and now I'm kind of brainstorming that I should do that myself, because like I said, I know a lot of artists and producers alike that use BandCamp, and it would be a really cool way to support their stuff. So I'm gonna look into that, because I think that would be something cool to kind of utilize in my own on my own profile as well. Third, because most of BandCamp's community features are driven by sales, you need to jumpstart things by telling the world you're here. It works like this. Number 1, you tell your fans you're on BandCamp, many of whom are likely among the millions already using the site. Number 2, they follow you, which means we automatically notify them when you add new music or merch. Number 3, you add a release, they buy it, and we notify their followers about their purchase via email and the music feed. Number 4, your release appears in every buyer's public collection where still more fans discover it. 5, your release starts appearing in people who bought this also bought this recommendations. Number 6, you start showing up in the recent bestsellers sections of Discover. And 7, before you know it, you're knee deep in the emotional and monetary affections of the BandCamp community. But how do you tell your fans you're here, and how do you convert them to followers? And is there something else incredibly useful about followers that we have not told you yet, and which you will be astounded to discover the very next section of this guide? So you can kind of get the sense that this is very much leaning into the social aspect of the platform, which you could argue other platforms do this, kind of like Spotify, where it's strictly playlist driven. It's designed to create playlists of your own, but collaborate with others, build other playlists with multiple people and share those playlists and continue to do that over and over again. I think the difference here with BandCamp is that it's more about, supporting the artist directly, actually paying whatever they're offering their merch for, or their album for, or their single, whatever it is. So it's a bit different in that way, but the more you get supported by one or two people, it kind of, creates a chain reaction, and you end up opening yourself up to a lot more possibilities to get discovered by other individuals, as long as you are tagging things correctly and you're branding yourself correctly and all that sort of thing. And yeah, I can definitely say that having sold things there, it definitely helps, because the person will get an email about it. And also I've had, people support my projects on BandCamp, and you'll get, it's almost like a stamp of approval from other BandCamp users, because at the bottom it'll say supported by so-and-so, whoever gave support at any one time to that project, which I think is super cool, because it's almost like the social proof of like, hey, this is some good music because other people, have paid money to support this project. So I always thought that was a pretty unique part of the experience. The importance of followers. Followers are key to your success on BandCamp. We notify them automatically when you release new music or merch, and you can also message them using the BandCamp Artist app. Total side note, I don't like their app at all. Their app is kind of janky. It's got a lot of bugs, a lot of issues. I don't ever use the app. I always use desktop. I wish they would get that figured out, because I'm not really a big fan of it. You can't upload music. Really, all you can do is track your stats, but you really can't do a lot of in-depth engaging. That might be my biggest gripe with BandCamp at this moment in time, is the fact that their mobile app is just not very great. And the thing is, I don't even think they have a version of the app for the listeners, which is also something that they're lacking. I think they got to get that figured out eventually, if they really want to continue to evolve the platform. But just a side note, if you want to check it out, go ahead. But my experience with the app has never been that good. I always try to go desktop there. BandCamp followers are not your typical social media audience that you have to pay to reach, lest they miss your message because it coincided with a Pomeranian doing something adorable. Basically the algorithm. Instead, BandCamp followers are more like an enhanced mailing list. And building a following on BandCamp is risk-free, because every time someone follows you, they're also invited to opt to your mailing list, which you can export from your tools page at any time. Here are the steps to get BandCamp followers. Number 1, tell your Facebook and Twitter followers they can follow you on BandCamp, which it actually shows visual representation of the follower buttons for Facebook and for Twitter. Number 2 is add a follower button to your website, which you can kind of integrate into certain types of pages. They actually have the direct widget link, or you can copy it and paste it into your site, which I think is cool. I've never done that before, but they allow you to do that directly from here, which is nice. Share this follow link via email or text and put it in your bio on platforms such as Instagram, YouTube, and SoundCloud. And again, it's just your actual page URL. I put this in my link tree directly at the top. I actually have the BandCamp icon where people can click on that and go directly to my page. So something like that. Making it personal. BandCamp is designed to feel like buying something directly from an artist at a show where a fan gets to connect with someone whose work they love and experience the satisfaction of supporting the creation of more of it. So when a fan arrives on your BandCamp site, it's important that they immediately sense that it's yours, a place where they're directly supporting you. The most successful artists on BandCamp do a few simple things to underscore that direct fan connection. Customizing your site's design is one of the strongest ways to convey that your BandCamp site belongs to you. Check out our design tutorial for details, but here's a simple page outline here's a glimpse of some page designs that are getting it right. And then they go into, they show you one main page is by a group called Jaunt, and it shows you kind of their layout. They have a profile picture. They have their album art directly there. They're selling vinyl. They have descriptions, very thorough descriptions of their projects. They have where they're from, photo credit, website, discography. Everything's laid out. Looks great. And they also have their backdrop image, which I can't tell. I think it's just the album cover, but it looks pretty cool. But you'll be able to see that. And then they have, they have 7 total pages you can scroll through to use as examples to kind of model your own page after. I believe my backdrop of mine is currently a picture of my Unknown Advantage vinyl, because I'm still selling those vinyls on the website. So I kind of went dark mode with my page, and I have it like kind of an orange background to match the color of the vinyl. So I like how my page is designed currently, but I might change it to update it, the branding on the next project or maybe a couple projects down the line. We'll see. But it's cool because you can really get in depth with the customization of your page and make it very unique. It's also important to add an artist image. A few of our favorites are below, but almost any image is better than none at all, provided it conveys who you are. People are understandably less inclined to financially support empty rectangles, logos, or recycled album covers. You can add your image from any album page on desktop or use the artist app to add from your phone. That's kind of branding 101. So many people want to hide behind a logo or just not show their face, but unfortunately, that's not really how it works. You're not really going to see a lot of success in anything you do if you're not showing your face. So just keep that in mind. Take the time to write a conscious bio. Add it to the sidebar or desktop of the artist app. Don't just copy and paste your Wikipedia entry. Your BandCamp bio is intended to quickly convey a bit of who you are, and anything beyond 400 characters gets cut off. HTML isn't supported, but just below your bio, there's a separate section for links to other sites, which you can edit from your profile. Add your lyrics. Lyrics help fans discover your music via search, improve its accessibility for people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and strongly indicate that BandCamp is your site where fans can support you directly. If you're instead leaving it to the internet to document your lyrics, not only are you inviting unfortunate misinterpretations, you're also letting cheeseball lyrics sites profit from your work instead of you. Obviously, this only applies to people that are putting lyrics in their music. I don't get this because I don't write lyrics. I don't have lyrics to the songs I'm uploading. So just keep that in mind if you have lyrics to your song. Might want to put those in there. Good liner notes are crucial. Liner notes add value to music. They signal that a record is a work of art that's worthy of the listener's time and money. They provide biographical context, making the listening experience more personal by telling people who they are listening to and how the music came to be. And they're another indicator that you, the artist, are present, and that this is where fans can express their support. Next up is offering merch. Once you've established that BandCamp is where fans can support you directly, the next step is to activate that support by offering them things that they want to buy. And what fans want to buy most these days is physical merchandise like vinyl, cassettes, and t-shirts. Unlike the isolated sales of typical storefront merch sales on BandCamp, beget more merch sales on BandCamp. Oh, I think it's another article. So they link you to another article, pretty much telling you more in depth about the tactics to getting different sales on BandCamp. It says we provide merch-specific browsing tools so fans can check out the best-selling hip-hop on vinyl, newly arrived alternative cassettes, and so on, which of course drives more sales. Almost 1 million fans have their credit cards and shipping addresses stored with BandCamp, making it easy to buy your merch in just a few clicks. Over the course of the 16 years we've been in business and over 230 million transactions we processed, we've earned the trust of millions of fans and honed our checkout completion rate to 77%. You can include a digital album or track with any physical item on BandCamp so that when a fan purchases, say, your vinyl, they get instant streaming via our apps, as well as an optional high-quality download. I don't believe I did that with my project. I think I just added the vinyl in to the merch section and said, here's this limited edition vinyl. And I like how they let you link it to the release. So people are able to listen to the release right there, decide if they want to buy the digital, decide if they want to buy the vinyl. And I think they even kind of incorporate them together where you can get both. So they give the user and the listener a lot of different options of what they want to do to kind of let them decide on their own. We report merch sales to the charts. Physical format sales are reported to Billboard and the MRC. In the US and Canada, so long as you provide a UPC for the item, we report physical format sales as digital sales to the UK official charts, area charts, and the official New Zealand music charts. Provide powerful tools for order fulfillment. Our merch backend lets you see all your orders at a glance, mark items as shipped, search and filter orders, update customer addresses, and print shipping labels and packing slips. You can do it yourself, give a fulfillment partner direct access to it all, or tap into Merch API to integrate with your own fulfillment system. Swear to you, I'm trying to talk normal. The words aren't coming out for whatever reason. I was going to mention, though, for myself, I haven't really been utilizing those tools. I use a website called Shipping Easy that allows me to add in customer addresses and do shipping labels, print them, and ship everything out on my own. That's just what I do, but you can definitely take a look at their tools if you need something that's quicker. And, if you just want to do everything in their platform, I don't see what's wrong with that. So definitely look into it. Our merch player lets you promote your music and merch in a single embeddable widget. People can listen to your album and browse your vinyl anywhere you, your fans, or the press place the player. They're easy to make and they look fantastic. And they show you examples of those players. They're just little embedded players, and you'll see them on the website as well, especially when you get everything up and running and kind of integrate all this stuff. You'll see more of what it looks like, but definitely look on the page for these examples. And finally, BandCamp's vinyl pressing service makes it risk-free and hassle-free to offer your music on wax. Your fans' orders finance the pressing, and we handle the manufacturing and fulfillment. Which I don't believe when we did the vinyl, stream talking about, my experience with disc makers and some of the other ones. I don't know if I had BandCamp listed there. I might have, but definitely look into that. And they show you images of some of the stuff that they've created in the past and some different merch examples as well, which I think is cool. So definitely check that out. So final section of the article is called Promoting Your Music. Fans want to support the artists they love, and if you tell them where the best place to do it that is, many of them will act on that information, and you will see the financial reward. We of course think BandCamp is that best place, but don't take our word for it. Talk to other artists and labels and learn what they do and what's worked for them. If you happen to run your own online store, you may be inclined to send fans there first to avoid BandCamp's revenue share. We humbly submit that this will actually net you less money, not more, because unlike isolated storefront sales, sales on BandCamp can snowball. In fact, BandCamp's community drives 30% of overall sales. So even taking the revenue share into account, you come out ahead with more fans and retain your customer data just like your own store. Finally, you're hesitant to express a preference for one outlet over another for fear of a streaming service banning you from its chill metal podcast playlist. Consider the last time you were on such a list, whether its short-term benefits outweigh the value of building a sustainable and direct relationship with your customers. We hope we have not overstepped our bounds and that you are now ready to hear how to promote your release on BandCamp. Number 1, share the link to your release via social media and email. And when you do, let your fans know that their direct support is crucial and helps make your art possible. Number 2, embed one of your players on your own site. This is kind of just recapping all the stuff in one, kind of bringing it all together now. Number 3, if you have videos for your album on YouTube, add your BandCamp link to the video description. But make sure you include it early in the description. Otherwise, rather than appearing directly below your video, it will end up buried underneath the Read More link that very few people click on. If you publish your music on SoundCloud, you can add a support button to your profile that links to the BandCamp page. BandCamp Daily, if it's at least a few months before your release, consider submitting your music to the editorial publication. BandCamp Daily. The daily exists to shine a light on the expansive world of music that's on the site. It focuses on emerging artists right alongside established acts. Below are some examples to give you a small sense of courage. But know that we're equally excited by indie rock, digital cumbia, doom metal, trap music, afropop, and everything in between. To submit your release, contact us as early as possible to let us know about your upcoming release. 8 weeks before your release date is ideal, but we do understand that some albums have a much shorter turnaround time than that. Send us the link to your music on BandCamp saved as a draft private release. Don't send us links to other platforms. Follow the advice in this guide. We're more likely to feature music that represents how to best use BandCamp, so make sure you've read everything above and below. So they basically just give you the whole it's a 5-step process of how to submit your music for consideration for this list, which I think is cool. And again, something I have not utilized. So maybe something that I'll be looking into as well coming up here very soon. Pre-order setup. If you set up a release as a pre-order, be sure to tick the checkbox to include that at least one track for streaming download during the pre-order phase. Doing so boosts sales for the simple reason the fans are more likely to buy or wish list albums they can listen to, and also because only albums with at least one streaming track appear in BandCamp's discovery tools. Leveraging stats. Use BandCamp's rich, up-to-date, to-the-minute stats system to see where your sales are coming from, so you can see what's working, what's not, and refine your marketing efforts in real time. From the Artist app, go to the Stats tab, select Sales, and tap on any album to see how people who bought it found it. You'll see how many sales you're getting from social media and BandCamp's own browsing tools. We also show you the blogs and other news sites driving sales, and you can tap on any of those to read your coverage and engage those communities. And finally, engaging followers. As mentioned earlier, followers are key to your success on BandCamp, since we automatically notify them whenever you release new music or merch, and their purchases lead to more purchases by the community. But to really maximize your sales, you need to do more than focus on your follower count. You also need to engage those followers using BandCamp's messaging tools. By talking with your followers now and then, you're emphasizing that BandCamp is where they can directly support you, and consolidating your most ardent supporters in a place where audience directly translate into sales. But what should you say to your fans? We often see artists sharing and fans loving photos from the studio, excitement about an upcoming album, details about new merch, and updates from a tour. We also see artists simply thanking fans, telling fans in a specific location about an approaching tour date, or extending special offers to fans who have spent a certain amount. And finally, it's common for artists to message fans with a discount code, either to everyone or just followers who have not made a purchase yet. Did we miss your favorite tip for getting the most out of BandCamp? Let us know. And that is that. That is the article right there. Very extensive, very up-to-date, 2025 up-to-date. Go check that out. I would recommend that one first. But like I said in the description, check out the Music Gateway one and the iTunes one, because they also have some nice information. But BandCamp, I think it's just worth taking a look at the end of the day. I think it's a very unique platform. There's really nothing like it still. And while there's been debate on it, about the changes of the platform and the change of ownership and all that sort of thing, I still think it has a lot of cool things going on, and I love what they're doing. So again, I wouldn't be, recommending it to anybody if I didn't have good experiences with it myself. It's just another spoke at the wheel, though. It's not something I would rely solely on. I would make it part of your repertoire if you can. Wouldn't rely solely on it, even though, of course, they're going to be a little biased in the article and be like, you should do everything over here. It's like, you should do stuff over there, but still be on streaming, still be elsewhere if you want to. You got to ask yourself, what do you want to do? And for me, it's another spoke in the wheel. I'm still on Spotify. I'm still on all these platforms. I'm on Even, another platform that's kind of similar. Just figure out what you want to utilize it for, and just kind of go from there. But I think I would start, if you're brand new, I would kind of look into setting up your page, because it's completely free to use BandCamp. You're not having to pay a yearly fee or anything like that. You can go on there, set up your page, link your PayPal or whatever you want to collect your money through, and then start going from there. So I think, it gives people a leg up already to be able to get started. So I would look into it. I really would. And let me know in the comments, if you guys saw this video, if this helped you get started with using BandCamp, let me know. And hopefully, that this does something for you to be able to kind of kickstart your journey on the platform. But that is that. We're going to be back next week, May 8th. And we're going to be talking about my experience with working with different labels, specifically lo-fi collectives. So that one's going to be more of a producer-based workshop. But definitely, if you're an artist, feel free to tune in as well. I'm going to be talking about, submitting music to different collectives. Also, my experience kind of doing that on my own now with Proven Knowledge, kind of launching, doing releases and different label things. So that'll be a cool one. I might have to really look into finding articles for that, but a lot of it's just going to be my own experience as well. But yeah, look out for that on May 8th, or excuse me, May 6th, not May 8th. Next Tuesday, May 6th. But like I said, we might be back on Twitch next week. We might not. I don't know. I'm just experimenting here and just seeing what works. But overall, you guys are still going to be able to watch these on YouTube and experience these and check out the articles and all the stuff you would have done before. So stay tuned to see what happens. But thank you guys again for checking this one out. Stay safe, stay positive, all that good stuff, and have a great week ahead. Until next Tuesday, peace out, guys.